Hey guys, I'm Miles Brandman, and this here is the 2019 Toyota Tundra TRD Sport. Now the Tundra has been on sale since 2000, and in that time, there's only been two generations. 2000 intro, 2007 second generation, and then in 2014, we got a pretty thorough refresh. That is what we've been working with since that time. So it's really, all of its competitors, the Chevy Silverado, the Ram 1500, the Ford F-150, they have more recently been thoroughly updated. The Tundra is kind of stuck to the way it's been since 2014. So I want to see if it still looks relevant inside and out. And then in another video, I'm going to drive it and we'll see if it still drives like a modern truck. So let's start with the exterior. Again, this is the TRD Sport version, so it's going to have some of those specific styling and performance upgrades. Up here at the front, we've got a body color matching housing for this grille, and man, this is a freaking wide grille. It is this wide. That is probably as wide as a little Mazda Miata. That's a full car's width just in the grille. But I mean, that's what these trucks are about. They're about big statements, and so the Tundra in that way is still in line with modern half-ton pickup trucks. The TRD Sport also comes with this hood scoop. It also has daytime LED running lights and LED headlights, body color matching bumpers down here, and yeah, a front-looking, or a contemporary-looking front end. Go to the side and we can see 20-inch alloy wheels, and these are wrapped in 275 section tires. My thing about these wheels is I think the size of the rim is good for a truck this big, but the wheel, the sidewall is not big enough. I want a 33-inch tire on this to fill out these massive wheel arches. That's my opinion on it, but again, the rim looks pretty good, and that's part of the TRD Sport package. Body color matching mirror caps, that's also part of the TRD Sport. And this is the CrewMax model. So you've got this giant rear door here, and it leads to a cavernous interior space that I will show you in a bit. Walking to the back, we see TRD 4x4 Sport badging. This is the four-wheel drive model. And then at the tailgate, yeah, it's really pretty boring. There's not much going on here. You've got Tundra stamped into the tailgate itself, but the tail lights and the whole rear fascia is just sort of, it's kind of plain for a full-size pickup. You want a little more. Open the tailgate. It's got the hydraulics, so it kind of smoothly goes down below. This has a spray-in bed liner on this model. That was a factory option on this one. And this doesn't have some of the other things that new trucks have been adding, like the step. It doesn't come out here like the F-150. You don't have the grab handle to step up into it. So if you want to get in the back of the truck, you're going to have to do some clambering up back here to get in it. You do have the steps on the tailgate, of course, but kind of wish it was a little bit easier to get in the back of the truck. This is a 5.5 foot bed. You can't get the 6.5 foot bed on the CrewMax model for the Tundra. So that's something to keep in mind. So aesthetically, I think it looks pretty contemporary. It looks pretty good for a full-size pickup. I think the lights and maybe some of the side and rear styling can be upgraded in the next generation to fall in line with its competitors. Again, that new Silverado 1500, the Ram 1500, and the F-150, they just look like more modern trucks. But let's take a look at the interior now and see what we've got going on there. Okay, so inside the cabin, and I'm actually gonna crank this bad boy on. Oh, V8 power, good, yeah. Inside the cabin, it's pretty standard Toyota fare. You got plain panels, metal looking but plastic covers for certain things, big chunky things like this gear selector. This is a TRD Sport specific gear selector, and I want to point something out that my buddy Phil showed me. There is red stitching on the back of this gear selector. Why is that odd? One, because you can't see it from the driver or passenger perspective, and it is, apart from the Sport on the floor mats right there, the only other red detail on this entire interior that isn't like a standard car red, like the climate gear, the climate control, or the red line, or the hazard lights. It's just really odd that they chose the stitching on the back of the gear selector to be red. And that's it for your TRD Sport red specific stuff. The steering wheel is not leather wrapped. It's in this plasticky material. It doesn't feel very good. And I'm sure that, you know, over time this is going to wear down. The gauges are analog and nice and big and chunky and truck-ish, but they don't have a nice big digital TFT display to rifle through the materials. You do get a digital speedometer when you go through the different settings, but yeah, it's not looking as nice and luxurious as some of the other models. Now granted, this isn't the top of the line Tundra. You can get the 1794 edition or the Platinum, or there's some other models that have leather seats and other nice details, but still, when you look at this center stack, for example, the new Ram 1500's giant tablet and gorgeous displays and high quality materials, and same thing with the Silverado, and at least it has an 8-inch display in the Silverado. This, you've got this 7-inch display, and it's really just outdated. This is Toyota's Entune audio system, and I mean, apart from being pretty quick to respond, the resolution is just so bad, and I don't know, I just think they really need an upgrade for this infotainment system, and the interior itself needs a bit of an update to make it feel a little more modern, certainly. The back seats, though, are super spacious, so I'll show you that in a second, but I also want to make a quick mention of the fact that one great thing about all new Toyota vehicles is they come with a series of safety features, active safety features. It's the same deal with the Tundra. You get adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, pre-collision avoidance, and lane departure warning. That's all is standard. Now you can add other things like rear cross traffic alerts, parking monitors, a backup camera. That is all part of the TRD Sport package, and there's some other details that you can add there, but it's kind of nice that they include those safety features as standard. There is not something such as a sunroof here. That's a little odd to me, especially as so equipped. This car is $47,000. Truck, I should say, is $47,000. On the bright side, you've got a cavernous center console. Look at the size of this thing. It has no organization whatsoever, though, so it's sort of like whatever you put in there is just going to flip-flop all around, but it's a good size thing. This is a personal thing that I hate, but my water bottle, I hate the throttle. My water bottle has nowhere to be placed in this thing. I can put it there, but it's going to rattle around and make noise. The door cubbies aren't big enough to put it there. I certainly can't fit it in this center console, or I can fit it in here, but I can't fit it in this cup holder. Everyone has these like Yeti or Nalgene or Hydro Flask bottles. They should really be integrating big cup holders at this point, or at least ones that can adapt, become bigger if they need them to. All right, now I'm gonna go sit in the back seat and show you that. And oh my gosh, the space. Now again, this is the biggest cab design for the Tundra. There's a regular double cab and then a single cab beyond that. But I'm 6 feet tall. I'm sitting behind my own driving position. This is like limo levels of space back here. I feel like a child in the best way. There's plenty of headroom. This would be such a comfortable place to cruise around, to go on a long trip. There's just so much room. One thing was kind of funky. Toyota says these are 60-40 split folding seats, but I think that may only be the bottom of the seat itself, because I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to 60-40 split the back. And if I'm dumb, myself and my buddy Phil, who's filming this right now, we could not figure that out. So if there is actual 60-40 split folding, maybe someone will comment and tell me how to do that, because that was not so obvious to me. Engine, let's go look at that. Okie dokie there. This is the 5.7 liter V8 version of the Tundra. You only have 2 engine options. Both are V8s. There's the 4.6 liter that makes 310 horsepower, and this big daddy 5.7 that makes 391 horsepower, 401 pound-feet of torque. Now, how does that stack up with its rivals? Well, the Silverado 1500 now has a 6.2 liter V8 that makes 420 horsepower, so a good deal more than this. The Ram 1500 has its 5.7 liter that makes 395 horsepower. Ford's 5.0 liter V8 makes 395 horsepower as well. So all of them make a little more power, and all of them get better fuel economy in their V8 versions. And most of that is due to the fact that Toyota is still working with a 6-speed automatic, but all those trucks either have 8 speeds or 10-speed autos, and that really maximizes your fuel efficiency. They can shift to a higher gear, lower that RPM, and really get more fuel economy out of the truck. So this has 14 combined MPG in 4x4 version. There's the rear-wheel drive version that's going to get a little bit more than that, but that's pretty bad. When all the competitors in 4x4 versions have 17 or 18 combined MPG, you're really going to be hurting. Now, the TRD Sport model does come with the larger fuel tank. It's 38 gallons, and that helps quite a bit in terms of your max range. But every time you go to that gas station, you're throwing down $100+, especially if you're here in Southern California. So that's going to hurt you a bit. Otherwise, the powertrain itself, super smooth, and even though it's only 6 speeds, it really works through those gears very well. They've been working with this setup for a long time, so it shows in terms of the refinement over time. What else can I tell you? As I said, this one, spec'd like it is $47,000, which is quite a bit of money, but matches up kind of evenly with those other models when you start adding the options that this one does. It starts for the Crew Cab Max that this one is, it starts at $35,000, which is a much easier entry point for many people, but you're gonna get a lot of not so nice details. You're gonna get a lot of chrome. Maybe you're into that. You're gonna get smaller wheels, and it's not gonna look as nice of a truck. But this one, in terms of the interior, you're working with fabric seats, and as I said, no leather wrapping for certain details. So spending $47,000 and not getting those niceties, I don't know if that's going to be worth it to you. All right, so that is our walk around of the 2019 Toyota Tundra TRD Sport. In the next video, I'll do my first drive of the 2019 Toyota Tundra TRD Sport. So look for that later this week.